back, you guys. So, for my first official video, I would like to talk about a very interesting topic called as chakra healing. So, what is chakra healing? Chakra healing is actually a very alternative sort of science, which is, not very scientific per se, but people have been doing it for generations. From it's even in early Upanishads and Vedas. So, we are trying to just analyze what it is, what chakra healing means, and what does it entail, and if there is any science behind it actually, and finally what each chakra is and how we can balance them. Okay, so what is chakra healing? Chakra healing basically means that it's generally the idea that our body consists of various chakras or various psychic energies in our body. Chakra means what? Wheels. So the idea is that there are several psychic energy points in our bodies, and by aligning them and focusing energy on those channels, we'll feel much better. Our well-being is enhanced. So that's the whole point, or what the idea behind chakra healing is. So, this idea of chakra healing has been there for many generations. It has been explained in various ancient and ritualistic texts. The idea of chakras has been already mentioned in the Upanishads and Vedas, but the idea of chakra healing as we know today, that is the idea that there are several psychic vortexes in our body, there is energy throughout, channeling through them, and all that was only mentioned in the Tantras first. And in 2015, according to a research paper, one Mr. Amit Ray rediscovered this whole idea of chakra healing. He identified that there are over 114 psychic energy vortexes in our body. And in those 114, 7 was considered major, and that's what we'll be focusing in this video also today. His whole idea of chakra healing was that in our body, self healing can actually be done if we activate all those 7 chakras or psychic energies in a sequential manner, that is one after the other. If we activate them in such a way through dynamic restructuring, that is basically through affirmations, breathing exercises, relaxation, and through various other ways, if we activate each chakras, that will ultimately lead to us feeling better, and our well-being will be enhanced, and we'll feel like we are connecting to our higher self, thereby giving us a sense of control and a sense of alignment with the universe. That was the whole point of chakra healing. So let's talk about root chakra. Root chakra is the basal chakra, in the sense that it is found in the base of your spine, and it is in red color. So what is root chakra? It is basically connected to the concept of fear and survival. So anything you're fearful about, anything that is connected to your survival, is usually under the concept of root chakra. So if your root chakra is out of alignment, it is very possible that you might feel very anxious about certain things, you might feel very phobic about certain things, you feel very lethargic, that is very tired about things. And people who are specialists who work in chakra healing even say that that can even lead to money issues or issues with your feet, because root chakra is about grounding, right? It's about your fear and survival. So it's about grounding, it's about feeling grounded and aligned with your day-to-day stuff or day-to-day things. So root chakra, when it is out of alignment, it can cause a lot of anxiety about various things that's happening in your life. So what can we do to make sure that our root chakra is aligned? The whole point of chakra healing is that, yeah, you can go to a specialist, because they'll help you. That's great. You can go to a specialist who is focusing on chakra healing, but it is written in tantras in such a way that people don't have to go out of their way to feel aligned to themselves. Even doing simple things like talking to yourself, or self affirmations, and just walking around, go connecting with nature, can have a great impact on your chakras and your alignment with things. That's the whole point of chakra healing. So first and foremost, if you want to align your root chakra, or let it be any chakras, the way you talk to yourself is very important. The way we talk to ourselves has a major impact in the way we see things, right? We might see one thing, but all that matters is how we perceive it in the first place. The way our outlook in our life, the way we perceive things is very different from what's presented in front of us. Often more than not, the way we see things is connected to our past experiences, our fear about things. So the least we can do is talk to ourselves in a good way, because the world is, you know, hard enough. Why are we treating ourselves in such a bad way? If something is going wrong, the least we can do is like give us some consolation, tell to ourselves that it's okay, we'll figure that out, instead of saying that, oh, this is another thing I failed at, or this is another thing I'm fearful about, because the world is going to say that to us, right? So the least we can do is to make sure that we talk to ourselves in a good way. So for your root chakra, the whole point is to feel grounded. So what you can say is, I am grounded, I am safe, and I'm secure. I am enough, and I'm connected to the earth. That is the affirmation for root chakra. Just believe in yourself that you're enough, you're safe, and you're secure. Even in the ground, and even when you face some problems, even when you face some issues, just believe that you're safe, believe that you're secure, and moreover, believe that you're enough. You're worthy enough for anything. For all the good things in the world, you're worthy enough for that. Believe that. That's the whole point of root chakra affirmations. And more than that, another important thing that can help you to ground your root chakra is earthing. Earthing basically means that just walk around, but not with your shoes, or not with your chappals, or not with anything on your legs. Walk walk in your bare feet. It might be difficult for people. You can't walk in roads, and I don't think that plays a major role. The whole point of why we say to walk in bare feet is that usually we are connected with so many, like, electrical gadgets, or most of us live in flats, so we are not having any direct connection to the ground. And for humans, it's very vital that we feel that connection to the ground. So make sure that if you can go to some parks, or if you can go anywhere that you can touch your feet to the sand or the mud, that would be great. You would feel so much more better, trust me on that. So basically, talking to yourself, affirmations and earthing can be a very good way to ground and feeling and aligning your root chakra. Okay. The second chakra is the sacral chakra. It is orange in color, and it is found in your lower abdomen. In sacral chakra, it is connected to your emotional intelligence, and the way you are able to see things, the way you are able to perceive emotions of others and perceive emotions of yourself, the way you are able to draw boundaries, the way in which you are able to change, the way you are able to evolve into a better person, your sexuality, all comes under sacral chakra. So, what might cause the blockage of sacral chakra? From the way I say things, you might be able to understand what can cause it to block, right? So, especially for people who are into people pleasing, people who can't say no, it's most likely that their sacral chakra has been blocked due to their past experiences, where they had to grow up in an environment where they had to constantly say yes, where they had to be constantly be the good person. That can lead to blockage of sacral chakra. Or it can be the other way around, people who are unable to change, people who deep down know that they might be in the wrong, but they don't want to say that they are wrong. And I, like, from a spiritual and like even psychological standpoint, we are not here to punish them or blame them, but we are rather here to just understand why they are like that. So it's possible that their sacral chakra is blocked from their past experiences. It's likely that whenever they said yes, I did do that wrong, they were punished immensely. So they grew up where they are unable to say that I did something wrong and I apologize for that, or because they know for a fact that they'll feel extremely guilty if they say it, and they don't want to go through that. So the people who do that like that, or people who are in the other extreme, people who are very people pleasing, for both of them, it's the same root cause. It's just the outcome was different, that's all. The root cause was that their sacral chakra was blocked, their self identity, the way they connect to emotions were blocked. So even for people who are very conservative about sexuality, who are very conservative about sexuality, or who are very extremely into sex, and both of them are not wrong. That's not wrong. It's just the fact that people, like, we have to analyze where it is coming from. Are you generally a very open person, or are you not open because of the shame associated to sex? And if you have shame, where do you think it came from? And for people who are very open to it, are you just a very sexual person? Do you actually do it for your pleasure, or do you do it as a way of punishing yourself, or as a way of regaining control? Like, we have to understand why our behavior is in a certain way. If you are conservative and it's just your personal preference, that's completely fine. And if you are very open to sex and that's your personal preference, that's completely fine too. But we have to understand where all those emotions stem from. Is just a personal preference, or is it shame or a lack of control associated to it? So things like that will help us to understand if our sacral chakra is blocked. So this can, if our sacral chakra is blocked, it can cause many issues. It can lead to unhappy relationships. It can even cause fertility issues. It can cause shame. And shame is a very, very intense emotion. So, and we might even not know that we are shameful of certain things, because the outcome might be very different. So we won't know even that we're shameful of something that happened in our past, and that's why we are behaving in this way. So to understand all that will be very helpful if you are on a journey to unblock, or basically align our sacral chakra. So what can you do to align your sacral chakra? What you can do is to make sure that you meditate. Meditation is a very powerful thing to do, and it can be anything. It can be guided meditations, it can be just sitting and thinking about your breath, anchoring through your breath. Anchoring through your breath. I'm sorry, my battery, something happened. Anchoring through your breath. Anything like that will help. Or just sitting. Even meditation doesn't mean that you have to sit there and just, sit there for like 20 minutes in a particular place. Meditation, you can do it even when you're cooking, even when you're bathing. The whole point of meditation is to just be present in the now. If you're cooking, be aware of what you're doing. Usually when we are cooking, we listen to music, or we watch a video, or we are thinking about something else. So when you're cooking, just make sure you're aware of it. What are you putting? What are you doing? Be aware of it. When you're bathing, the same. Think about what you're doing. Why are you lathering the soap? Just be aware of it. That's the whole point of meditation. You don't have to sit there and just serve like for 20 minutes and think about your breath, because it's very hard for most people, right? So just being aware of what you're doing is more than enough. That is meditation. If you have time to do guided meditation, that's great, but if you don't, that's okay too. Just be aware of what you're doing. The second thing you can do is journaling. Journaling can be immensely powerful, especially people who are into shadow work, which I'll make a video hopefully soon on shadow work. So people who are into journaling, so it's basically asking yourself questions. So for example, if you are taking the sex example itself, if I'm feeling very shameful around it, even saying the words like sexual words, even just saying that is hard for me. Or if I'm taking a biology class and even then I'm not able to say certain words, why am I so shameful around it? Why is that affecting me so much? And if and you feel like you are a very open person towards sex, but the minute your friend says that they engaged in sex, or when your friends are talking about it, about their sexual life, you get very uncomfortable. Why is that? So things like that, you can journal about it. Sit there and actually think about it, because in your head it might not make sense, because there are so many things going on, but when you put it into paper, you get a structure out of it. So it's easier for you to actually remember and think of why certain things are happening, what happened in your past for you to feel this way. So that is one form of journaling. Or what you can do is, you can also start with gratitude journaling, because shadow work is often a very hard thing to do. especially if you're journaling about things like this, things that make you very uncomfortable. If you're journaling about it, you wouldn't want to do it, right? Because obviously nobody wants to go through uncomfortable feelings. So when I am journaling, what I try to do is, after that I take my gratitude journaling. Gratitude journaling is basically writing, for me it's like 5 things. You can go 10 or you can even go 3, it doesn't matter. Just taking that time to actually be grateful for things you have in your life, and it doesn't have to be big things. And I would recommend it not to be about big things, like not about your job, not about your boyfriend or girlfriend or whoever. It shouldn't be about them. It should be about the small things in your life, like today what made your day better. For me it would be, I went out with my mom today, so that was, I am very grateful for that opportunity that I get to spend time with her. So things like that, like small things. Or I got to listen to my favorite song today in shuffle. When I was randomly listening to music, I came across a song that used to be my past favorite. So things like that, actually sit there and think about what made your day today better. So that will actually help you to feel grateful about the things. So things like meditation, journaling can actually help so much when you're working on your sacral chakra. And another thing, which I heard from a podcast. If you want to learn more about the chakra healing, one source I would recommend is Madison, the Mindset podcast, which is amazing. I learned so much from her. So in her podcast, she's saying how even listening to 417 hertz music can be a very good way of actually, like, opening up your sacral chakra. So that's the way you can align your sacral chakra. Is the solar plexus chakra. In solar plexus chakra, it is yellow in color and it is in your upper abdomen. So in this particular chakra, what happens is, it's mainly connected to your ego and the way you can make decisions about yourself, about others, the way you perceive others. Things like that come under this chakra. But solar plexus is mainly about yourself. But as I mentioned before, the way you see yourself is the way you see others. Everybody around is a reflection of you. In solar chakra, the whole point is that if you're feeling like somebody else is very egoistical, or somebody is very uh yeah, they are like, why are they being so confident, who do they think they are? If you feel that way, one thing I would recommend is actually analyzing, why do you feel that way? Because most of the times when we are feeling insecure in a certain situation, even though we don't know it consciously, we don't know it, if we feel like in a particular situation somebody else is actually very confident, very outspoken, we might actually feel very uncomfortable, because in our subconscious it's like, oh, I don't feel I'm safe here, but that person is safe. How is that possible? I am supposed to be the best person here. So that can actually often happen. So it's very hard for especially people who feel a constant feeling of insecurity, where they feel like they are not confident enough. It's often hard for them to actually connect with confident people, because they don't see them in that person. So if you feel like, and most of sometimes people are egoistical, that's often there, but taking that place and that situation in a rather negative light, it's better if you see it in a, okay, but what does this teach about me kind of situation, because it helps you to analyze it in much more objective way, rather than just blaming the other person. So the solar chakra is often on the point that it's about how you deal with your self-esteem. If you feel like you off when you're fighting with somebody, or when somebody rejects you and you feel very intense emotions, obviously rejection sucks. Let it be about a job, let it be about a person, let it be your friendship groups. If somebody rejects you, it's bound to hurt. But if you feel like you attach your self-worth to that rejection, then it means that your solar plexus chakra is probably blocked. It's because you connect your worth to how people perceive you. If somebody says that, okay, I can't give this to you, you automatically assume that since that person is not giving it to me, I am not worth it at all. You're not even thinking about the possibility that, okay, maybe there's somebody else who can give it to me. There's some other job which I would love. There are some other friendship group which is much better for my higher self anyway. There's no, for in our minds it's like it's my problem. We don't think that it's more maybe a redirection from universe or redirection from our subconscious mind to a much better place where we are feel worthy, where we feel loved, where we feel accepted. It might be that, but for people who have rejection sensitivity, they often connect their sense of worth to their, that amount of perceived rejection they feel. They don't feel like they have a stable sense of self. It is often very changing, it's often very moving, because their entire idea of self-worth or their entire identity is based on who they are with, who's their group, or how their family is. All those things actually make them feel like, okay, this is the person I'm supposed to be, so this will be the person who I am. They don't even think, okay, beyond all this, who am I? Is there anything that is unique to me which I love about me? That question, people whose solar plexus chakra is blocked might not even often ask. So people whose solar plexus chakra is over like over aligned. It's not aligned, I would say it's overworking. Yeah, if people who are overworking their solar plexus, they might actually feel like, people who are actually a little bit narcissistic, or that's a very clinical term, but still people who are very into them, who are very selfish, who don't think about other people. So people like that might have a solar plexus which is extremely, that's also bad. Like, the whole point of chakra healing is to keep everything in balance, right? So people who are very selfish, it might be that their solar plexus is out of alignment, so it can go into both extremes. So in solar plexus chakra, how do we actually figure it out? The one thing that actually affects solar plexus chakra is your childhood experiences, like your sacral chakra, but solar plexus chakra is the one that's affected the most, because that is the core of your identity. Your core of your identity is affected by your childhood experiences and your past experiences with anything around you. So what you can do is actually considering healing modalities, going to therapy, going to, like, I wouldn't recommend talking to a friend, because they often come from a very loving standpoint, which is good, which is often very helpful in a venting situation when you're just talking to just feel better. That's good. But actually, if you want help and if you want to see from an objective set of eyes, I feel like it would be much better if you actually go to a therapist, go to a professional who can actually help you out there. So, and I meditation, journaling, and finally I would say connecting to music, which is, I would suggest 525 hertz. Actually, in that podcast I mentioned, in that you were saying 525 hertz, those kind of music can also actually help you to align your solar plexus chakra. Basically connecting with your inner strength and connecting with your inner self and feeling confident and worthy regardless of all the experiences that's around you is what actually keeps your solar plexus in alignment. And I would personally say that helping other people can also often impact your solar plexus chakra. It's often connected to your emotional empathy, so sacral chakra and heart chakra. But I would say that it can also affect your solar plexus chakra. If you help other people, if you're altruistic in nature, there is that sense of like, okay, I am working towards my purpose. I feel like our purpose at the end of the day is living in a community, in a harmonious community. So in within that community, how am I giving? What is my purpose? What am I contributing? So if you're actually helping people, I feel like that will definitely help your solar plexus chakra. So try to help a friend, try to volunteer. Doing things like that can also actually very much help your solar plexus chakra. The fourth chakra is the heart chakra. A heart chakra is mainly focused on being compassionate towards others, being forgiving, being in that place of unconditional love and warmth for others. But one thing that we often neglect is that we can only forgive another person if you're forgiving towards yourself, if you are actually being compassionate to yourself. You can only embody those feelings and emotions if you do that same for yourself. If you if you if your heart chakra is not aligned, most often it can go in either extremities. If you are not being able to forgive yourself, it's very likely that you won't be able to forgive another person if they did something to you, and you know that they are genuinely sorry about it, and you don't want to lose them out of your life. But there's a tendency in you to be like, yeah, but I am hurt so much, and they should feel that same amount of pain, even though you know that deep down they genuinely understand that they have hurt you, and they are very sorry about it, and they would actively try to change and be a better person. Even then you're like, yeah, but they said sorry too soon, I don't think they are as hurt as I was, so they should feel that hurt, sort of thing. So it might be difficult for some people to forgive another person, especially if you are a kind of person who punishes themselves to the maximum whenever something goes wrong. Even when you do a small fault, when you're like screaming at yourself, you're constantly thinking that, oh, I'm such a stupid person, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. If you're constantly in that mode of like criticizing yourself, it's very likely that you will be criticizing another person also. Or it can go in the other extreme where you're extremely people pleasing, and you come from a place of like, oh, I'm never going to ask them to apologize to me, I'm never going to say that you have even hurt me in the first place. If somebody says that, oh, I don't think I should have done that, you're, no, but it's okay, it's okay, without even acknowledging the fact that they have hurt you, without even acknowledging the fact that it did cause some emotions in you. You're not even going to acknowledge all those emotions, you're just going to pile it up. But the problem is that it's going to come out in some way or the other. If you are not showing it to the other person that you have been hurt in a respectful manner, if you are not going to show that that you have been hurt, that your feelings are invalidated, you are going to show that anger towards you, because resentment has will pile up, and you're going to show that anger towards you, and that's not fair, because you didn't hurt yourself, another person did. So you have to talk to them about it, you have to actually acknowledge your feelings, but also come from a place of love and compassion, rather than from a place of, oh, I need to hurt them back because they hurt me. Because most of the time what happens is they hurting you might not be intentional, but if we deep down know that, oh, what I'm going to say or what I'm going to do is going to hurt them, and you're doing it intentionally, then it's two separate things, right? So we must come from an awareness of like, why am I doing this? For you to actually, if your heart chakra is blocked, what it can lead to, it can lead to so many heart diseases, pulmonary diseases, and basically anything that's associated to your chest and your heart can be affected. So what you can do is, and I think it can even cause problems in your relationships. From what I have explained, it's understandable that it can cause problems in your relationships, and it can cause a way of restriction within yourself. So what can you do? What can you do is to align your heart chakra. There are certain things you can actually use: body oils or essential oils, because you're activating your senses can be a great way to actually be in that, be like in the space of being peaceful, and like actually like treating yourself, being nice to yourself, sort of way. And then another thing you can do is you can do mirror work. I think many psychologists are also actually asking their clients to do this, when you are actually standing in front of a mirror where you're seeing yourself and saying that I am good, I am worthy, I am loved. And it can be very awkward in the initial stages to actually do it, but once you start doing it, it makes such a difference. And recently on, I think on Instagram, I saw this one person talking about her body issues, and she was saying how like it was very difficult for her to even see herself, because she was constantly in that stage of criticizing, oh, I don't look good, I'm not a good person. Like she always used to compare her self-worth with her body. Oh, I'm only good if I look good, sort of thing. And then her therapist asked her to actually stand naked in the mirror and look at her, and it was so difficult for her. And she was saying her for the initial few days she was shaking basically, but after that gradually she was able to see it, and she was actually even able to express it. And in on some good days she was able to actually compliment herself. On other days she was able to get to that point of body neutrality where she's like, oh, I shouldn't have I that just because it's not my ideal body does not mean that I have to hate it. It has been helping me so much, so the least I can do is actually treat it with some sort of respect. She was able to come to that standpoint, so that's what we are looking for. On those days where you can't actively be positive, just come to that place of neutrality. That's all we are asking. That's all we are asking. Come to that place of neutrality. Be aware of be aware when you're doing that self-talk, negative self-talk thing. Another thing is, other than meditation, journaling, which I already explained, another thing you can do is listening to 635 hertz music. That can also really help to open up your and align your heart chakra. And I feel like for so many of, especially people who might be attracted to my channel, I feel like your heart chakra is so, what I would, the least possible term would be, is so like full and you want to help people and you want to please people and you want to be that better person for people. But and that's all good, and that's the reason why I started this channel, to learn, to help other people. But at the end of the day you have to take care of yourself too, because that's where it all starts. Your external world is a reflection of you, so if you're treating yourself well, the world around you will treat you the same. Okay.